Next, we are going to discuss about progressive waves. On the first category, we had progressive waves and electromagnetic waves. On the progressive waves, we can consider the progressive waves as transverse progressive waves and transverse longitudinal waves. That means these waves move from one place to another. If not, they transfer energy from one place to another. Electromagnetic waves, let's discuss about that later. Now, we just learned before, we defined transverse wave. What are transverse waves? Waves in which particles oscillate in the direction perpendicular to the direction of propagation of wave. So here, imagine this is the medium now. There's no wave. This is the medium I have taken for longitudinal wave. It's difficult to compare longitudinal wave if you take like this. This is the medium. Imagine a medium like this. These are particles. These small lines are the particles. Here these dots are the particles. Okay. So when there is no wave, the particles will be at rest like this, and when you create a vibration in that medium, waves will be created. In transverse wave, if the wave is going from left to right, the particles will oscillate in the direction perpendicular to the direction of propagation. But in longitudinal waves, if this is the direction of propagation, the particles will oscillate parallel in the direction of propagation. Okay. Now let's start with transverse wave. Imagine a transverse waves actually is created on this medium. Then what will happen? Now this is a transverse wave. Now these are not two different things. This is the same thing. It has become like this. This is when there is no wave. This is when there is a wave. Now look at the particles. Now this particle is here. This particle has gone up. This particle is here. This particle has gone down. This particle is here. This particle is here. This particle is here. Here, 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 and here. I hope you understood what that is. All right, fine. Then what happens now? This line, the broken line, that is where these particles were supposed to be, but now these particles have changed their position like this. Now what will happen? This wave will keep moving forward. Let's see, when this wave moves a little further, where will these particles where are these particles going to exist? Now the red color line I have drawn is not another wave, it's the same wave which now it has moved a little further, because our wave is actually propagating in this direction. Okay, so initially the blue color, it will be at blue color line, then you take a photo, and in the next very small second, small time interval, you take the next photo of the wave. Now the wave would have moved a little further like this. Okay, the blue and red are not two waves, it is the different position of the same wave at different time intervals. Now look at this particle. Now this particle, or else let's start with this particle. This particle was supposed to be here. Now the particle has gone down here, right? This particle, and this particle was supposed to be here. It went up, and now it has come down. And this particle has gone up. This particle was initially here. It went down, and now it has gone up. This particle has gone down. Likewise, this particle has gone down. This particle has gone up. This particle also has gone up. This particle has gone down. This particle has gone down, and this particle has gone up like this. I hope you can understand what's going on here. So these particles are moving up and down. When these particles move up and down, for us it will appear that the wave is moving. So I was emphasizing this in at the beginning also. These particles don't go forward; they vibrate, but alternatively. Now, if all the particles go up together, it will not look like a wave, right? So one particle has to go up, the other particle has to go down. Then when this happens, it looks like a wave eventually. So that is what happens. So you can see, if you mark the propagation of the particles, this particle, if you take this particle, it has gone actually down. It has moved downwards. Okay, and if you take this particle, when the wave is moving to the right, it has actually gone up. I hope you can understand what I am marking here. And what about this particle? That also has gone up. Why do I say it has gone up? The blue color one is the initial position, the red color one is the final position. And if you take this particle again, it has gone down. This particle has gone down. This particle has gone up. This particle has gone up. This particle has gone down. This particle has gone down. This particle has gone up. Okay, I hope you can see the arrows there. Yeah, this is how the particles are oscillating. So this is how the oscillation happens, and all of these particles will keep doing that. All of these particles will keep doing that, and that is what you call the simple harmonic motion I was talking about. So here every particle is performing simple harmonic motion in the direction perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the wave. Okay, every particle will go to the maximum height, every particle will come to the low value. So they will give you questions like this. You should be able to understand, you should be able to figure out which particles are actually moving down, which particles are moving up at the given time. Okay, each particle will be performing simple harmonic motion. These are not two different waves, these are two different positions of the same wave. I hope you understood that. Okay, now let's analyze it a little deeper with a large diagram, then only you will be able to understand it clearly. Now if you analyze a single particle, if you take this particle, it was initially here, now the particle has come down. Okay, and this particle was initially here, now the particle has gone up. This particle was initially here, now it has gone up now, right? This particle was initially here, random, okay, this particle has gone down eventually. So this particle is actually moving downwards, this particle is moving upwards, this particle is also moving upwards, this particle is moving downwards. So if I take a single particle in this medium, this is what it does. See if you can agree with me. Now this is our amplitude, right? The maximum displacement. Yeah, this is very, very important. This part I'm teaching, you have to understand it very clearly. Now if you take a single particle in this medium, what will that particle be doing? It will be moving up and down. It will be performing simple harmonic motion. So when the particle reaches the maximum displacement, that particle's velocity at that point will be 0. Why? It's simple harmonic motion. And at the same time, when the particle comes to the bottommost point also, it will have a velocity of 0. This I'm talking about the particle, not the wave. Okay, I'm talking about the particle. And at the center, we know the particle will be either moving down or up at a velocity of, at a maximum velocity. We call it Vmax. We have already learned that. Okay, and few more things you can mark for this particular particle. This is where the particle was supposed to be, but now this will be your, the particle's what? Amplitude, capital A. And we all know, if they ask you to find the maximum velocity of this particle, the equation is going to be A omega. Okay, we have learned that in simple harmonic motion. Now let me consider another particle here. Now imagine this particle. Okay, take this particle, will you take this particle, this particle. If you take this particle, it was supposed to be here initially, but now it has gone down. So this is the displacement of that particle, x. That is the displacement of the particle. Okay, so you can apply all the simple harmonic motion theories for all these particles, each if you when you consider an individual particle. And one more thing you have to learn about simple harmonic motion is this, not simple harmonic motion, the transverse wave actually. When you take a transverse wave, in small classes also you have learned that it has certain features, correct? I will draw a transverse wave. Yes, now these positions, they have a special name. What do we call them? We call them crests or peaks. This, all right, at a given time, the particle which are the particles which are at a maximum displacement are called crest or peak. And these points, these particles at this moment, at this particular moment, they are at the lowermost point. Now this is where they were initially. This is where they were initially. Now they are at the lowermost point. So these points are called, we know, trough. All right, fine. And one more very important thing, when these particles perform simple harmonic motion, there will be certain particles which perform simple harmonic motion identically. Now for example, take this particular particle and this particular particle. Okay, if you take this particular particle, see, they are going down, both at the maximum displacement at this particular instant. Not only those two, this and this. So they behave identically, that means they behave similarly. So these particles are called the particles which are in phase. That means there is no phase difference between them. We have learnt phase, I hope you can remember that. So phase is PHASE. So those particles are in same phase. Now for my convenience, I will choose certain particles in this particular wave and I will name them for my convenience. I have named them A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Okay. So if in this particular wave, the crest and the crest, or else particle D and H will perform simple harmonic motion which are identical to each other. When D is at the top, H will also at the top. When D is at the bottom, H will also at the bottom. So we call D and H are points or particles which are in phase, right? Pairs of particles in phase, D and H, that is one pair. Okay, what other pairs can you think of? You say B and F, because they both are troughs. And similarly, if you see this particle and this particle and this particle, they all are moving up at this particular instant, and they are at their initial position at that moment. Okay, right. So you can see they are also identical in this case. If you see, it's and one more thing, careful, you have to be absolutely careful. Now the firstmost particle, it has also gone down. See, it has also gone down. So this particle, and this particle, this and this are identical. This and this are identical. I hope you understood that. This and this are not identical, even though they are at the same level. Correct? Why? This particle is going down, but this part is going up. So in that case, here when you compare the other pairs or other particles, I can write A, E and I are in phase because they have similar simple harmonic motion, A, E, I. And can you tell me another pair? C and G. That means C is the point right after the trough. G is the point right after the trough. So you can say C and G are also in phase. Now, what is the meaning of in phase? There is no phase difference. And at the meantime, you can find pairs of particles which are exactly the opposite. Now take this particle, right? Now this particle, it's going down and it's at the highest point. This particle is going up and it is at the lowest point. So definitely this one and this one are opposite. They are opposite in phase. So we call them out of phase. Now you take this particle and this particle, this one and this one. In this case, A and C. A and C. When you take A and C, A will be going down, C will be going up, but they are at the same position. So they are exact opposite particles. You will have to know. Sometimes they will ask these questions. So when I say pairs of particles out of phase, we can compare some, right? We can compare a trough with a crest. They are out of phase, completely opposite. So B and D, that's one pair. And A and C, they are at the same level, but since they are at the adjacent points, they will be out of phase, A and C. So when two are out of phase, what will be the phase difference? The phase difference will be 180 degrees, if not pi radians. I hope you can remember this. When there is a one single wave, the phase, we learned phase under simple harmonic motion. When you have one single wave like this, what is the total phase angle? It's 2 pi, and here it is pi, and here it is 0. So this is the peak or crest, this is a trough, and you can see the phase difference there. The phase difference is actually pi. I hope you understood that. That is how I mark this 180 pi. So these things you should know. We normally use the transverse wave to understand these things. Now amplitude, okay, amplitude, displacement, and all those things. Then it's easier when we use transverse waves to understand these points. Good. Now few more things we have to learn. I'll come back to that based on this. So we learned transverse waves and all those things. And before we move on to few more components of waves, let's discuss about longitudinal waves. How are longitudinal waves created? Now I have drawn some lines here. The meaning of these lines is that there is no wave created in this particular medium. Now when a longitudinal wave is created in this particular medium, the position of these lines are going to be altered like this. Now I'm going to, let's say I'm going to create a longitudinal wave here. So what I'm going to do is, after every small time interval, equal small time interval, I'm going to take pictures and let's see how this looks like. So the first picture, now there is no wave, now suddenly a wave is created. Let's see how it will look. This is what happens when a longitudinal wave is created. Okay, some particles, they move towards a certain point, and some particles, they move away from a certain point. I hope you can understand what's going on here. You can see these particles have moved towards this. Okay, all these particles have converged towards this particular point. They have converged towards this particular. So each particle, I will mark with an arrow. They have moved like this. Do you agree with me on that? See if you can agree with me on that. Yes, they have all moved towards this point. And here if you take these particles, they have moved away from this, like this. Okay. Now here if I mark, now this green particle, this has gone here, right, and this particle has gone here, and this particle has gone here. Can you see the difference? So what is happening? The particles are moving this way or this way. So wave is going this way. The propagation of wave is in this direction, but the particles are vibrating like this, unlike this. So that is the difference between, main difference between longitudinal waves and transverse waves. And after a while, what happens is these particles, now whoever came to the center will move the other way, and they will these particles will move the other way. So I will draw that too. And this is how the next position of the longitudinal wave will look like. I hope this gives you some idea. Now look at the first diagram. First diagram is where there is no wave created. In the second diagram, you can see this set of particles, they have moved towards this point, or they have done this, converged, and this set of particles have moved away from this point. Now here see, they have moved away from this point. Again, this set of particles, they have moved towards this point. So here they are moving towards, here they are moving away, again here they are moving towards. You can see that, and that will happen alternatively. Now look at this point. Now look at this. This is the same wave at different situations. Now here all these particles moved closer to each other. Now they are moving away from each other. Whoever moved away from each other are moving closer to each other. Whoever again moved closer to each other have moved away from each other. So what is happening? They are actually performing, if you take one single particle, it is actually performing simple harmonic motion this way. They will keep on doing that. So for us, it will appear like the medium is shrinking and then expanding, shrinking then expanding. Okay, right, good. So when you consider a longitudinal wave, in transverse wave we have crest and trough. Crest and trough. In longitudinal waves, there are certain parts where the particles are tight. I mean, particles are compressed. Particles are compressed. They are very close to each other. So in such for those positions, we call them compressions. And these positions, we call them rarefaction, where there is a gap between, large gap between particles. The particles are not compressed fast. Rarefaction and compressions, compressions and rarefactions. And so this point is also going to be a rarefaction. So just in transverse wave, we know that crests and crests will be in phase, trough and trough will be in phase, like that. In longitudinal waves, rarefaction and a rarefaction will be in phase. Now look at this point and this point. Okay, look at this point and this point. Okay, now when this point is now in this diagram there is a compression. Now if you take these two parts, now in the earlier point they are both are compressions, right? The middle part, this part is rarefaction. This part are rarefaction. Here this one and this one are compression. Now here this is compression, but here rarefaction. So you can understand that actually this particle and this particle, they vibrate similarly. This particle and this particle, they perform simple harmonic motion similarly, because whenever this is compression, this is also compression. Whenever this is rarefaction, this is also rarefaction. So this one actually, I'll use this color, highlighting color. This one and this one are in phase because they are similar. They are showing similar. They are showing similar what do you call that? Simple harmonic motions or similar nature. So they will be those particles will be in phase. If not, if I take another particle, think of this green. Take this green. Okay, take this green and this red. Look at this green and look at this red. They are both closer to this one, and in the next case they are much away. Red is also much away. So this green and this red, I mean the green and the red, okay, they are also in phase. I hope you understood that. And then this point and this point will be out of phase because rarefaction, compression, complete opposite. I hope you understood that, complete opposite. An example is this green and this green. Now, when this screen is very closer, okay, when this screen is very closer, this green has moved much further. This green has moved much further, and when this green is further, this green is closer. So this green and this green are out of phase, but this green and this red are in phase because they are similar. So rarefaction will be in phase, rarefaction and compression will be out of phase. Right. Now quickly I will have to define certain things. Now we know few things about frequency. Every wave has something called frequency, f. We know frequency is number of oscillations per unit time. Every wave has a frequency because waves are created due to oscillations. So that is frequency, number one. And second one, we learnt about amplitude. Every particle. Now here also you can say, now if you take the purple color particle here, it has moved this much, from its initial position. The purple color particle, it has moved. So every particle here are also performing simple harmonic motion. So whenever a particle is performing simple harmonic motion, it will have an amplitude. Amplitude is the maximum displacement of an oscillating particle. That is what amplitude is. In this transverse wave, if you are supposed to mark amplitude, you will be marking it like this. Careful. This is not the amplitude. This is where it was supposed to be. Now it has gone here. If not, this is also an amplitude. The distance. Careful. From the initial position, the maximum distance it travels. And one more thing, very important thing, this next one is wavelength. That you might have learnt in small classes, but it's a very important concept we have to introduce new. When I say wavelength, now in small classes you might have studied, or you might be remembering when someone asks you to define wavelength, you must be saying distance from crest to crest, distance from trough to trough, if not distance from rarefaction to rarefaction, if not distance from compression to compression. That's not wrong, but it is not a general definition, right? So in general sense, what we say wavelength is the distance between two adjacent points which are in phase. The distance between two adjacent points which are in phase, D and H, two adjacent points which are in phase, right? Now I can say take the distance between this point and this point. That is not wavelength, because 1, 2, 3, all these 3 points are in phase because all are crests, but this point and this point are not adjacent. So this is the wavelength. Okay, this is the wavelength. This is the wavelength. Correct. And not only that, between A and E also, the distance between A and E also, it's a wavelength. Between C and G is also wavelength. Why? The definition is the distance between two adjacent points which are in phase. So let's mark some wavelengths. In this case, I can say this as lambda. Correct. Yeah, that is lambda. And here if I mark this is lambda. Likewise I can mark, and here also I can mark yeah, this length is lambda. Okay, distance between two adjacent points which are in phase. And one more thing in addition to that, what we have to define is we have already discussed phase, and then the last one is the speed of a wave, and that speed is given by Fv equals f lambda. You might have learned this in O level also. Frequency multiplied by wavelength will give you the speed of the wave. Now you have to be very careful. This speed and this speed are not the same. This is this speed. Here speed will be speed of the particle of the medium which is undergoing simple harmonic motion. But this is the speed of the wave. We are talking about this is this v, the green color one. Okay, here also this is the v. The wave will be traveling at a speed. Now, if you want to find that speed, you have to use this equation. You have to multiply frequency by wavelength. But if they ask you about a single particle, now the single particle is not moving. It's not moving with the wave, remember. It is at its same position, but it's performing simple harmonic motion. So it will have different speeds at different instances. Now, if you consider these particles, if you take these particles which are at the top or the particles which are at the bottom, all of them will have speed 0. Do you agree with me? Because at that particular point they are at the highest or lowest point during their simple harmonic motion. So that is very important, you have to understand, right? So if you want to find the speed of a particular particle, then you will have to use the concepts of simple harmonic motion. But if you want to find the speed of the wave in general, you will be using this equation, that is V equals f lambda, where f is the frequency, lambda is wavelength, one of the most important equations when it comes to waves.